call, so you guys could say hello and everything as well. So we're going to just get going with this. At this point, it's 11:57. It is April 21st. I am going to be doing a midday public call for everyone. It's going to be on my VTF. It's going to be on my private Red Dog All Access Twitter and public Twitter, just to kind of give a little bit of where we are now and move forward. I do this every week or so. On top of every other video that I do, I try and do as much as I can to keep everyone in the loop. So now that I'm giving everyone a little bit of time to get the link before I start so they can watch it live, let me just check my different Twitter accounts to see if it's actually there. Let's go to the different Twitter accounts. Here we go. Let me see. I don't see it. Up, here we go. I'm going to say start now. Start in 1 minute. 1 minute. Actually, it's going. Okay, then they just put it in the VTF, and now we'll put it in the private. Just let me know, make sure that it's actually, you could see me. So here we go. I'm going to start. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic. What am I? I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's midday public call. It is 4:21. I do so many different types of videos, so many different days. Each morning I'm up every day, like 4:45. Hey, guys on the VTF, can you hear me? I just want to make sure that the sound is working and everything is going. Just say hey before I bring you guys over. All right. So I do a little bit of everything. You know, those of you who are tuning in, you probably do follow my community, or you're within my community. I hate to say follow. We don't follow. You don't follow me. I don't follow you. We work together. We work together to try and put as much information in front of us so we can make calculated decisions on so many different time frames. So I'm up every day at 4:45, trying to tweet, you know, what's happening overseas. I'm tweeting about what the futures are doing. I'm trying to put together the day. That starts on Redler All Access. Some guys say, what's Redler All Access? Well, this is Redler All Access. T3Live.com/RAA is Redler All Access. That's what I do every single day. I write a full note. I post 15 different charts. I do a morning call 20-minute video. I do a recap. So people are like, what's that? Well, that's Redler All Access. And some say, hey, what's the virtual trading floor? Okay, well, the virtual trading floor is right here. I just posted it up. What it does is it allows everybody to look at what we're doing and what we're talking about. Right now, there's 324 people in the virtual trading floor, okay, from all around the world. Hey, guys, tell everyone in the public, where are you guys from? Where, and I can type right in, look at this, where is everyone from? Not that I could spell. So it's usually people from all across the world. You know, they're all like-minded technical traders. Some trade for a living. Some trying to add cash flow to existing careers, whether they're not in front of the computer all day long. Most people who are on the virtual trading floor trade for a living. So they're here, you know, on the virtual trade floor at 6 o'clock in the morning. They stay all day. They try and catch every single different type of move, which is a little bit different than Redler All Access, where you get the note, the videos, the charts, and maybe they do, you know, 1 to 4 trades a day. Who knows? Everyone is a bit different. But I just try and put as much out there as possible to suit whoever it is needs whatever they want. You know, and it's different for everyone. Let's see, where are we up to? Everyone's still going. Long Island, California, New Jersey, India. We have Tel Aviv, Barry's house. Barry's one of our funny traders. We have a lot of personalities on here. You know, there's a lot of crazy things going on in this world. You know, you need to be able to laugh. You know, we all discussed ways, you know, we've been dealing with this with our families, with staying at home, with everyone's trading in different places they might have never been trading. So actually the virtual trading floor for me has been fantastic, because I've been coming in here to the Short Hills office all by myself. And I'm sure a lot of you are at home all by yourself. And, you know, it could get lonely. So by having a virtual trading floor where you could bounce ideas off guys you're familiar with. There's some guys in here for multiple years. Guys, how long have you guys been here, some of you? You know, some have been for 3 months, some are new, some have been for 5 years, 6 weeks. Okay, David, where are you from? You're from China, aren't you? Not to be stereotypical, because your last name sign starts with a Lee. But Tom, it's been 8 years. Montgomery, Rob, 2 years. Mike, 7 years. Mario, on and off. Whenever he gets fed up with me, he takes off. A lot. Some guys have taken Redler Ultimate Access, some of the courses for the weeks, for a weekend. Anyway, it's a lot of like-minded individuals. I'm not pitching virtual trading floor. Actually, I kind of am by saying all this, but I'm just trying to show you what we're doing. So, if you've been following me and if all you're doing is listening in on the 6:30 quick video that I do for 10 minutes and you really get a lot out of that, there's so much more that you could do. If you want to email me, scott@t3live.com, scott@t3live.com. I always put it out there. You could tell me what's happening. scott@t3live.com. And if I could spell it, sometimes everyone's like, how many thumbs do you have? Scott@t3. That's not right either. And I could hook you up with a trading counselor, or you could just go to right here. That's RAAT3live.com. Anyway, so let's kind of go back and we're going to start again, because also for compliance. So this is what I have working. So on the virtual trading floor, you could see what I traded throughout the course of the day, what I took off, what I'm in right now, what I had for a bunch of days, what I don't have for a bunch of days. So like the SPY 295 calls, remember I posted last Friday, when the SPYs hit highs. I'm like, guys, this is a little risky, but I've been doing this every single week. I've been selling SPY calls about $10 above where they are now to give myself some room, because I do think that this S&P 2800 or 2850 is hard to sustain. So I called it the risk to the downside. I said above 2800, the risk to the downside is more than the risk to the upside. The same way when we were down at 2400 in the S&P, in the early March or the second week of March, I was selling the SPY 220 puts, the 215 puts, the 195 puts to basically get synthetically long. So it's been a way for me to develop cash flow. So, the 295s I came in with, you could see it says overnight. I covered some into the weakness. 297s I came in overnight. I'm not covering those because I want to collect all the premium. The 293s I came in overnight, hopefully collecting those. And then today I added. I didn't have overnight. I shorted when I was like, you know what? It feels like we're not getting back up there. I don't have enough exposure. Boom, 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 whatever. SPYs I came in short overnight. So you see overnight right here. That's what that is. I covered some in the morning, covered, and then I actually bought a little bit into the 275 half area, and then I traded around it, and so that's how the virtual trade floor follows it. Today, for earnings, just to be involved, since Amazon was off 100 points, it shows that I bought Amazon 2460 calls for next Friday's earnings, just to have. Okay, because I do think that they could fire in all cylinders. I feel like, their retail is going to be fantastic. Amazon Prime Video, I feel like I'm almost on there as much as Netflix. Their AWS, I'm not so sure about. Maybe they do a split. So I bought the 2460s and I also sold the 2640s. So that call spread just for earnings. I never sell options into binary events. I buy them because risk is premium paid. It costs me about $30 to make 180, so I can make 150 points if I'm right. If Amazon's great. Remember last quarter we friggin' killed it on the lottos, the lotto spreads, the inline spreads, even trading it afterwards. So anyway, today I decided to put it on for next week, just in case Netflix is really good and it does something to the prices. So I have that. This I have for a bunch of since last week, which isn't working well. I did get stopped out of my work. I had it overnight. I sold some into some strength. You had some time to sell some into 30, okay? And then, and I just got stopped out, and that hurt a little bit. Peloton, I came in overnight, and I bought all the way down into that zone, the 2950 zone. I got to tier 2, which I tweeted to Redler All Access. So part of what's good of being of Redler All Access, if you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to show you that also. You can go here. You can see this is my Redler All Access Twitter feed. Okay, you guys don't see it. So home, that's where I get my tweets, right? How do I get to there? My profile. Okay, you can see I'm going live here. So I bought my Amazon 2460, the whole thing. This also, I'm now in tier 2 in Peloton. It's in that zone. Remember the zone we put in here? I actually posted this on the public Twitter sphere. Saying, hey, if you sold it up here at 37.38, this is a good zone to buy. I nibbled a little bit yesterday, got really big, a little too big for myself today, but I've been trading around it. And just to show you in the morning, I also show them the VTF sometimes. So I post all these charts. I post the SPY chart every day, or the S&P cash on the public. But in here, if you look, I'm posting Peloton, Work, Amazon, Netflix, Microsoft, Apple. Then I give some things that I'm doing. There's the morning video. I give some work. Then Jets, XLE. So there's a lot that I post every single day that I just can't post in the public Twitter sphere. Just it's like cable TV and public TV. You can go watch Channel 2, Channel 4, but if you want to watch Netflix or HBO, it's just a little different. And some of you guys are like, oh, if you're such a good trader, why do you have paid services? Well, we have to keep the lights on, and I put a lot of time, a lot of effort in. And although it does help me to do all the work every single day to reinforce my levels and my thoughts so I could execute and make a good amount of money trading, because that's how I make the majority of my career, I could also package it, and that's what T3 Live does, packages it for people like you who think that you want to do it the same way we do it also. Oh, Peloton resumes live classes. That's good. Let's see where Peloton is right now. Anyway, go here. Let's go to let's go into some charts anyway, as we're coming into charts. We'll see where we are. This is let's see. This is the S&P. So let's start. So this morning, what we come in and say? I said we finally had a close below a prior day's low. That prior day's low in the S&P was 2830 was the gap from Friday right here. So we closed below it. So for the first time, there was actually a little bit of just a little bit of a win by the active sellers. You didn't see that here. You couldn't close below a prior low. You couldn't close here pretty much. This one matched it. Whatever it was, this gave me a signal to be short the SPYs besides being short all the calls that I sold last Friday. So that helped me make the decision. And I did post that, and we talked about that this morning in the morning video. So today, we first bounced off at 2760, and then we didn't hold it. Okay, so now we are on the right side of this ascending channel. Remember when we talked about the active sequence that could develop a bounce to 2800, which was pretty much right here after this active sequence to the downside? Well, that right there is now a gap to the downside. So what does a gap to the downside mean? Sometimes it means power, sometimes it means control. Well, here we had a gap to the downside that didn't get filled. Okay, so the same way this was to the upside, that gave you your first move, came in, another gap that said power. Now this is the first one to the downside that potentially, just potentially for now, potentially, because you never know, potentially, did I say the word potentially? Potentially, could create the W that everyone started getting ashamed about talking about, because they started talking about the W here or wherever it was, and maybe they were short the entire time and got stopped out. Who knows? So at this point, now we're going to measure levels. So far, I guess today's low is the low of the day, 2727, which is also the 21 day. So put that in there, 2727. That's what we know. As a trader, you want to say, what do we know? What don't we know? And here is 2727. That is the morning low, and that is also the 21 day. Here we were extended from the 8 day and the 21 day. That's why I was like, the oscillator is plus 80 or plus 105, which was last week when Kramer, I'm going to say his name, Kramer, got all damn bullish and giddy on that Thursday, and we were at 28.25, 28.40. The oscillator was 110. I'm like, even in a normal environment, you don't put new longs on with an oscillator plus 10. Besides this crazy environment that we're in right now, where countries have been closed, just reopening. I didn't even want to get, what kind of environment we're in. The goddamn world's been closed for 2 months, and we have another month of being closed, and companies, airlines, and seminars, and you name it, they haven't been open. So who the hell is buying the stock market when the oscillator is plus 110 after a 25.5% plus move from the lows? That's why I got upset. Anyway, here we are now. We're back to probably a neutral, or maybe plus 30. Looks like we're bouncing a little bit off the 21 day. We're on now the right side of this ascending channel or rising wedge formation, and we'll see, does it stay below 2761, okay, or not? If it stays below this or it doesn't fill this gap in the next few sessions, then who knows, maybe we could see a move closer to 2655, which would be another spot. We'll also put some retracement rules. If you guys remember, I've talked to you about 7 different time frames. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Talked about the 401k that I'm going to put money in every single month. I don't care what happens. I'm friggin', that's not a good word. I am 47 years old. I have a lot of time. I wasn't looking at the 401k and counting my money, in January or December. As far as my son's 529, I did mention to you guys when I put an extra lump sum of money when it was down 27% off highs, and I added 50% to my installments, which makes it a lot more every month because I started at age 5. I didn't start at age 1 like I should have. I started at age 5, so I need to play some catch up. And then a lot of you guys modeled my wife's account. My wife worked for the state, right? She worked for the UMDNJ from 2004 to 2012. And yes, she built her entire long-term account through the financial crisis because she put it in every single month. That's what I think you guys could be doing now during this potential scenario. So, but when she moved, she had to keep it there and she couldn't put any more contributions. So it's just an account that moves with the market. So last year, I went to cash. So this year I talked to you about how I was going to leg in because everyone on TV is talking about how they're putting their cash to work, or the fast money guys are even talking of, their mock accounts, or if they have real accounts. I don't know, maybe they have real accounts. Anyway, I said I bought some 20% off the highs and 32% off the highs. So I think my average cost was somewhere around 27% off the highs. So into this day, I did put in the S&P chart saying, guys, just if you're following me, I took off her account. She's back to that rider 3.5% guaranteed money account. So basically, if you're trying to be cute and you have one account that's a cash account, you're trying to put it to work and clip 10, 15, 20% or whatever it is, we bought it, from here to down, and then I just took it off there. So now everyone's like, Red Dog, when are you going to put it back to work? I'm like, I'm not sure. If the market just continues to go up and this 27 is the low of this little pullback and goes, all the long-term accounts will be just fine. If it happens to come back down to here, maybe it's worth a look, or maybe if we come down towards here, or maybe towards here. Just because we broke this doesn't mean we're on our ways back to retest the lows and make new lows. We're going to measure it as it goes, but you want to make sure you identify compelling areas, and the way you do that is you have them mapped out in front of you. So here is 2655, here's 2570, and as of right now, in order to get to 2655, what do you have to do? You have to break 2727 either today or in the week moving forward. In order to get clues that could happen, this pro gap doesn't get filled, and that would give us an indication of power to the downside. So anyway, we'll see what happens here. If you go to the SPYs, this too, closed below a prior low, and now you also have a gap here. We'll see if this gap gets filled or not in the next few days. If this doesn't get filled in the next few days, it can give some more downside power. This 2750, which was important, it bounced off short term. I covered my SPY short at like 277, 276. I bought the SPYs somewhere around 276 area, sold some and then got stopped out of some, and now I have no interest in buy or selling the SPYs a second. I'm still short all those calls which you saw in the VTF, and now we'll wait. What's this high here? This high here is 278. 278 is now very important. What's 278? What's 278? Think to yourself. It's the gap pivot. So do we stay below 278 over the next few sessions in order to show some downside control by this gap here? Here we had an upside gap that gave you a move to the upside. These gaps kind of got filled. I don't remember exactly. This was the big pro bear gap that when we lost the 1821, they give us clues we're going lower. So anyway, this 275.50, we'll see, does it contain price today? So if you covered your short into the 272s when it hit the 21-day, maybe you put it back on at 275, 275.50. If the bears want to have some power, that's probably where they reject price. So the question is, I put a question here because we don't know. Okay, all we know is you had this ascending channel, this rising wedge. It seems like for the first time the bears had a little bit of power. The sellers had power by closing it below a prior low here at 282.40, and now we'll see, does this big gap lead to another move to the downside? We'll see. We'll go day by day. Again, 7 different accounts. If you have long-term accounts, that's one thing. Like I explained, if you have I have a day trading account, a swing account, an options account, and a box account. So I do them all a little bit differently. So anyway, this is where we are now. The Qs were weaker today. The Qs, I did the chart this morning, this rising wedge. So here's the language. Tech has been the strongest sector, and we'll see if that continues. IBM conference call shed some light on how bad the July quarter can be, and it's down. and it didn't get a pass. Netflix is very important tonight. There's this, this looks where there looks to be a rising wedge. Yeah, I said it, spelled it wrong. A rising wedge here for today. See if it stays below 212 or not. If it stays below, look at 206.50 to 207. So stayed below 212. It broke this rising wedge. It didn't hold. This gap has now been filled, and now this is your new point of reference. So we'll see what happens. Tech was weak. I tried buying a little Apple versus level, it didn't work. I tried buying a little Microsoft versus level, it didn't work, and I took little paper cuts. Paper cuts are better than gushers. I tried shorting Apple the last 3 days, and even a pro, sometimes it's hard. That's why I like selling calls higher. There's more room. So now this gap is gone. This doesn't mean anything anymore. This level also, well, I guess it means something for now. It does. If we do bounces to stay below it, this rising wedge just kind of got broken. The morning low today now 203. Wow, it got down to 203.63. 203.63. 203.63 is now the morning low. That's your new point of reference. So what I call a point of reference is after a reactionary move like we had to the downside, it gives you a new point of reference, and that's something to trade against. So this 203.63 is right here. What's the next move under there? Look at all this, a lot of these moving averages right here. So we'll have to see what happens there. But this rising wedge to the upside is now broken. So that means, guys, the composure changed. I wonder what happened actually with like Jets. What did Jets do today? It's not really breaking here, but close. What did the XLF do today? It's below the moving averages, didn't really fall apart. So the weaker sectors that have been weaker didn't really fall apart today. Tech played some downside catch up. So we'll see. This 21 area, is something to watch here on the banks. And it's on the right side of this inside wedge. And this is what I wrote this morning. So I'm not making it so sophisticated when I post a chart of the XLF and Red World Access. Banks gave us an old bounce off the lows. This group is still a problem, meaning lower oil prices is not good for the banks because the banks lend energy companies a lot of money. Energy companies might go bankrupt. Oil is at historic lows. So this could be pressured. Was it pressured a lot today? Not that much. But we'll see. What did the XLE do today? XLE didn't really get pressured that much today. So the market's not falling apart here. It's just bending a little bit, or it's just, working off the overbought condition from plus 105 down to almost neutral, which again makes it a little bit better to buy. Plus we were so extended from the 8 and 21 day. It's good to, have an active approach above it, but when you're extended from it, you have to wait for it to pull back to it. So anyway, that's that. Netflix is tonight. Okay, 449 is your pivot. We were playing this. Remember, I posted this chart a week ago yesterday, which was Monday, and it was a great trade. Probably one of my best longs of the week. Why did I love it? Because A, you had a big channel here, which means there was a lot of accumulation. You had an all-time high here. Obviously, there was a strong business model before, and even stronger through the coronavirus. So here was your trigger buy 1, trigger buy 2. I think I sold my common into this move. I didn't catch that move. Remember those 4 or 5 calls that I had that were you saw in the commentary, and also I spoke about it on 1 or 2 of my runs. They went to like 35, and then it went to 449. So now we'll see what happens here after the close. This is going to be important. Does Netflix blow out this quarter and raise guidance? If so, 449 is your after hours pivot. In order to get to 500, it's got to get above and stay above 449. We'll see. Where's the virtual trading floor? Are they still listening? Oh, I wonder if could they still see we're here? Where are they? Oh, did I lose the virtual trading floor? I did. Anyway, okay, let's go back to here. Hey, VTF, give me one. So VTF, you guys, could you hear my voice? Actually, they have the link, so they could probably watch it. Yes, okay, yes, all right, good. So anyway, this is your after hours pivot. I actually bought the 450s back on Friday for like $14, and then I sold them today for $24, made $10, which you could see on the virtual trading floor also, just because I wanted to take the risk off so far. So if you look down here, you'll see I had the Netflix overnight, the 450s that I bought for 14 or 15, and I sold them today when it was up like 4 or 5. I just felt like it was coming in. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing into earnings. I might just traded it, and because it kind of gave you your your post-earnings move pre-market, not pre-market, pre-earnings. So now the premiums are so high, you need such a big move. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Amazon held the 8-day. Look how far extended it was from there. So now it held the 8-day. So you kind of move this down to here now. This 23.16 doesn't mean much anymore, except for it got back above it. So now this can go sideways for a little bit. And now this 24.60 is your pivot post earnings to see if it could be special or not. Apple is very weak. Apple broke this spot. Now broke all the moving averages. I don't know. I guess this is an area. Just if you would have drew this like that, that upper flag broke to the downside. I actually tried to buy it around 271. I lost money. This 271 is not important anymore. This is not important anymore. This really is not important, but now it's back below the moving averages. Here's where we reclaimed all the moving averages. You had a gap up with power. It's been a little trickier anyway. I haven't really trusted Apple that much. It hasn't been like my go-to name. But as of right now, what's this low here? This low is 266.93. So that's your new point of reference, 266.93. We'll see. Some guys might say, hey, I'm going to be long versus that. I sold up here. I sold when it broke this spot. Well, it is a decent area, but this now needs to be your stop. But again, you have to, be a little bit careful here. Microsoft was a really good trade for us the past 2 weeks. I actually sold it into this area, and then now it broke the 8-day, and I guess it's a little bit off lows, but this was weaker all day. Some guys were drawing this channel too that broke to the downside. Microsoft was a great swing long from 159. I sold it above 180 Friday, which I did. Now I'll see if I can buy it back in the 171.73 area. Yesterday's low is to see if it can get reclaimed. A, it didn't even get near reclaiming that, and B, it was showing relative weakness all day. So I bought it versus 171 like I thought, and then once it broke the low, I get out of the way, lost a little bit of money, and went all the way down to 166. Again, being lost, trying things a level versus a level makes sense. But you don't want to play the cost average game when you don't know what's going to happen here. So now this is meaningless. This is meaningless. So this gap is filled. So now your new point of reference for Microsoft is right here. And you'll see, what does it do? 166.11 now. 166.11 is your new point of reference. I'm just doing it on the fly, guys. I'm sitting here, I'm in my Short Hills office. I don't have a teleprompter. I'm just going through these are the names on my go-to list. These are the names that sometimes I trade, sometimes I don't, but I chart them every day, give points of reference, and I give ways to approach them. I do that right here on Redler All Access. If you want to be a member of Redler All Access, t3live.com/RAA. Try it for a month. Between us, I had my best quarter in the business last quarter on top of my best quarter in the fourth quarter, which are two different types of quarters. So that means we know how to trade either type of market, when you're in a portfolio approach or when you're in tactical approach. So anyway, let's go back to the charts. Somebody say Apple just made a new low? No, not there. Okay, what's Peloton doing? Look at that. That's nice. This was the buy zone. I posted this chart in Redler All Access. Actually, Redler All Access was one of them. I put it in the public because I told you guys on Saturday how much I love Peloton. Remember the little video that I did? Well, I posted saying how I love it. The mantra, the life coaches. You should buy one. Maybe you just bought yourself a Peloton by trading the stock and use it and go buy yourself a bike. Anyway, I was really focusing on Peloton here in this chart. That's when I put on the $25 calls or $26 calls and made a really nice trade into here. I missed this part of the move. So anyway, a lot of guys sold it into this. And I said, hey, if you sold above 37, why not look to be a buyer here in the 29.50 to 31 buy zone? I nibbled a little bit yesterday towards the close, and I added a lot today. As you saw in the private Twitter, I said I'm in tier 2 Peloton now, and tier 2 Peloton was into this zone. Now it looks like it's about to do a red dog reversal by reclaiming 30.97. That's good news. Hopefully, you did it. I did post this in the public Twitter sphere. Where's Peloton, guys? BTF. Let's see. Watch. I could ask them a question. They'll answer right back. Where's Peloton right now trading? Steven. Steven is my name. What movie is that? 3120. That's nice. Can anybody answer that? That's a big question. One of my favorite movies. Steven is my name. Come on the VTF. You need another clue? Actually, I know that a lot because my friend Steven passed away from leukemia when he was 30, and his name was Steven. So whenever he would get excited or have a few beers in him, he'd be like, "Steven is my name." And if I join you, can I fight? What was it? The Scots or the Irish? Nobody knows the movie? Come on. I get a free month to anybody who knows the movie. Okay, forget it. I'll say right now. Ah, David, you got it. All right. Little late. We got two before me. But Braveheart was one of my favorite movies. Braveheart's one of my favorite movies. Spartacus is one of my favorite TV series. If you never saw Spartacus, it's 4 seasons. Spectacular. Okay, by the way, Andy, who passed away from leukemia, also very similar to my friend Steven's story. He did season 1, and then they got a new Spartacus for the prequel and afterward. Gladiator was better, it's just different. But Spartacus is awesome, and then obviously you guys know I'm a huge Rocky fan. I've seen every Rocky across the board, love all the relationships. So much to learn from, Rocky and Mickey's relationship, and even, Apollo and Rocky, and just Adrian and Rocky. Just anyway, Spartacus, all 4 seasons were fantastic. So if you're home right now and you need something to do, I'd watch all 4 seasons of Spartacus. I even like Vikings. Vikings was great. Great series. I've watched a few of these with my son, even though my wife says it's inappropriate. She'll live. Anyway, let's move on. So that's the buy zone, and now maybe a red dog reversal. So we'll see. What else? What else? Where's the USO today? Oh, right down to those. By the way, geez. A lot of guys yesterday were like, how do I buy oil? How do I buy oil, Red Dog? I was like, you know what? I don't know. I'm like, if you could buy oil futures, I don't know which one you could buy. If you could buy a tank and put it in your backyard, maybe you could buy it that way. I'm like, but I'm not that smart to know. I'm like, I'm trading the spies and I'm trading the market and I'm thinking short. I think we need to come in. Oil is a better barometer on how weak the world economy is versus this propped up stock market that, is being driven by just the Fed and trillions of dollars of stimulus. I don't know. Anyway, that gave us some clues to be a little bit more short. So anyway, at this point, I would not be buying the USO. Some people think that it might even fail. I don't know. So just stay away. Again, look up here, by the way, by my 8 and 21 day and 200 day rule. The USO broke all the moving averages here at 13. Gave confirmation again when it broke 12. And even if you got suckered in and here's a topping tail, you've been out at 11. From $11, there was no reason to be in this. Look, and it's below the 8 day, below the 21 day. When you're below the 8 and 21 day, you're not long. When you're below the 200 day, you're not investing, especially in that sector. Okay, if it's above it, it's a different story. I know in here I was trying to buy lotto calls, and I made good money one day or 1 week, and then I lost the next 2. But better than getting, catching a falling knife. You don't want to catch a falling knife in this market. In this market, truly anything could happen, and you have to be on your toes. You need to know your time frame. You need to be prepared. You need to have a routine that you love, a community that you can count on. And if you do all those things, you can have longevity. I thank you for tuning in. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Be prepared. Be healthy. Pay it forward if you can. And I'll see you soon.